And I'll go with Kai Havertz.
Ah! Come on!
Yeah, it's okay, Chama, let me go with you. There's no. So when you heard this for the first time, be honest, what was your feeling?
I went to Twitter and I fought. I fought someone on Twitter. I fought a Chelsea fan of mine, my friend. I'm like, okay, fine. See, I need to state this categorically. I love Kai. I feel like Kai has something in the future. I feel like Kai has mobility on the ball in the future. I actually rooted for Kai when Chelsea were on the whole, should we send Lukaku back to Italy and have Kai, take up Lukaku's position. I supported that Kai could do it, even when I knew he wasn't ready. But now, like, how is Kai coming to Arsenal going to help us?
Hi, welcome to Transit TV. And welcome to, as we promised a few weeks ago, that we're going to be having our transfer talk. So this is going to be Transit Transfer Talk. Today, I'm joined with a new member to the family. Though she's been a friend for a few years, doing some work in the game on the grassroots level, especially in Nigeria. So we are glad to welcome Chioma to the show. Chioma, we have a very exciting group of followers in this channel. If you look at some of our videos, you see the comments going on there. A lot of people are supporting, even though it's a young channel, about a month now. We have recorded serious and huge and immensely gladdening followership by our viewers. A lot of people are subscribing. So welcome you to the show. I don't know if you have a few words for our viewers.
Okay, I'm so excited to be here today. It's an honor to actually join your channel. I mean, when Ugum reached out to me, I was really excited because I would do anything to talk about the sports I love. And everyone already knows I'm for Arsenal, so I'm going to say a lot of things, and I'm quite emotional whenever we talk about Arsenal. So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Good to hear that. Ugum, anything for our viewers before we start?
Yeah, I just want to welcome everyone again. It's always a pleasure talking with my brother, Reggie. And it's really good to have Chioma with us this evening. We look forward to a wonderful show. Actually, it's a really good day because there's a lot going on with Arsenal today, with all kinds of news flying around. And so we have a lot to discuss. But please, as we get into the show, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Please click on the like button. Please share as much as possible to as many people as possible so we can keep this channel growing.
Yeah, thank you, Ugum. Thank you for that. Just like you said, to reiterate that, if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do so right now and share, like this video as well. And one more thing, we need more interaction in the comment section. I know this one is going to be a very big one for people to share their opinion. So don't be shy to share whatever you feel about our opinion or conversation on the topic for today. We're going to this is our first of our transfer talk show. And we're going to be focusing each time on a club. That's rumors or players linked to a particular club. Today we are doing Arsenal. That's why we have Chioma on the show. She is a passionate Arsenal fan, and she's been involved with the club for a long time. So we are very, very excited to have her here and also hear her opinion on the players that Arsenal have been linked with in the past few weeks, though the transfer window opened officially yesterday. But we all know that things have been going on in the transfer market for the past, since the season ended. A lot of work has been done by so many clubs, their agents, the players. There's so much to be talked about, but we'll try and keep it to the more, I would say, powerful rumors or links to Arsenal. And before we start on the transfers, Chioma, I want to ask you, because we did our fan fiesta last week. Unfortunately, we couldn't get you on the show. And
Okay.
we tried to look at the just completed season for different clubs. For you, how do you rate or how do you talk about the past season for Arsenal? What was your feeling when the season was going on and Arsenal was doing so good and there was so much noise about them going to win the league? And some people were talking about it's not going to happen. People like Gary Neville say stuff about Arsenal. Eventually, we had a fall off and it ended how it ended. So just talk us through your own emotion, the roller coaster of your emotion throughout the season.
Okay, I mean, it was like you said, it was a roller coaster of emotions because we held it, we held it so strongly. We saw it, we felt it. I loved the dynamics of the game. I loved the sauce that the boys brought. I loved the fact that Arteta finally got the boys where he has always worked to get them to. And all those clubs were, especially Chelsea. Chelsea, they were always running their mouths, Arsenal, you bottled the league and all of that. But it didn't get to me because I would tell everybody who wants to listen to me, it was about the growth and development for me because I saw a different side to the Arsenal players that I used to know. I saw the fact that Arteta took how many seasons to build. He needed to build positions for these guys. He needed to teach players how to find your goal, find your foot, and score. He needed to turn defenders into attackers. So he needed to do a lot of work. So it wasn't about, losing the Premier League. It was about the growth. It was about the mentality of the players. It was about their confidence, the confidence that Arteta built for me. That was what I took home with. So I didn't really feel sad because I know we're coming back this season and better. So I'm very hopeful.
Okay, good to hear that. It looks like you've been on the show with us here. I am in 100% share exactly the same feeling that you shared. Yeah. Unfortunately, like I said in our last episode, the fans, the noises outside us now try to drag us into this talk of winning and bottling the league. But for any true Arsenal fan, yes, there was opportunity there to win the league. But it was for us, it was more like being in a dreamland and being because before the season started, I can't remember listening to any pundit that gave us now any chance of making top four. Some of them didn't even put us in the top six, sometimes of top four. So for us to put up that challenge that we did, for me, it was a victory. Some people will say mediocre, yeah, why can't you win it? I mean, it takes a lot to win the league, and not when you're competing against, as Ubun calls it, a machine called Manchester City, who is being driven by Pep Guardiola, if not the best, one of the best coaches that this game has ever seen. So I think I share your thoughts on that. Anything to add before we move into transfers?
Yeah. You've said it all. Both of you have said it all. We look forward to this coming season.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll go to the transfers. First of all, before we go to the links, I would like to ask you, Ugo, where do you think Arsenal needs to strengthen?
That's a really good question. I think that apart from the goalkeeping department, we need to strengthen everywhere else. We need to strengthen in the defense. We need to strengthen in the midfield. We need to strengthen in the attack. Ideally, I would love a center forward or a goal-scoring winger, right winger, someone that can come from the right wing and be able to score goals, or a center forward that's a point man, that has the height to make a difference for us, can hold up play. That's what I want in the attack. For the midfield, is well documented. I just need somebody that's mobile, somebody that's strong on the ball, somebody that can defend and be able to progress the ball, whether short or long. I think Partey has been incredible. Partey played for 3/4 of last season at the highest level we could have asked for. About a quarter of the way towards the end, he kind of faded, probably due to maybe an injury, or maybe he got tired. But I thought he did a great job earlier in the season. So we need someone like that, but somebody a bit more mobile than Partey. Maybe one or two people like that. And then in defense, of course, we need somebody in the center. Unless Ben White is going to become an option in central defense, a major option in central defense, then we'll need a fullback. I think we're covered as far as left fullback is concerned, unless Tierney leaves. If Tierney leaves, then yes, we need one. Otherwise, we probably need a right fullback or a center back if Ben White will continue as a fullback.
Okay, Jama, of course, we just the same question. What's your thoughts about areas or specific position Arsenal needs to strengthen for you? Or okay, like Boom said, we need to strengthen every apart from our goalkeeper. But are there specific positions that for you are key for us to work on in this transfer window?
I mean, I think I'm going to take every leaf from what Ugum said. We need the defense, we need the build-up, we need the midfield too. But I think we need to get a 9. It's time to get a 9. Yeah, I mean, we can't play Champions League without a 9, a proper 9, somebody that is just there to do the job. We don't need someone who is distracted. We need, let me not say someone stationary, but somebody who is going to utilize that position and play it. Ugu mentioned something about a tall person. I don't know any tall 9 in the market now. Oh, the one I know, I think he has gone to one club like that, but I don't know any tall 9.
Victor Seaman is a specimen. He's an example.
He's not coming. He's not coming. He's tied down in it. No, they're not letting him go. That's the truth. But we need a 9. We can't do Champions League without a 9. We can't do this season without a 9. When the likes of Man City, I call them the Spartans, the new Spartans in England, they have everything. Yeah. We just need a 9.
Yeah, for me, I think I agree with you guys. Talking about having a striker, I was listening to somebody today, and they are saying something about Arsenal having the habit of once they come for you and come for you hard, and it doesn't work out or you don't come, if you become available the next year, they don't go, come back. So speaking about players like Vlahovic, Osimawa, all these players that Arteta really went hard for, that the next transfer window, the next coming years, he doesn't. For me, in that position, from what we know, I think Vlahovic would have been a very good fit for us in that position. But for what he was quoted to have said or his agent said about Arsenal, I don't know. It looks like Tata is a man with some personal pride. If that was true that he wasn't picking their calls, probably that's why Arsenal is not looking at him at all. So I agree with you guys. We need a striker, actually, because Jesus has done great, but one of the reasons why I believe he doesn't score goals is because he exerts a lot of energy doing other stuff outside the box. By the time he's in the box, he has no energy and focus to get the job done. So probably my need, though it's not really his fault, because the way Arteta wants us to play, he fits the bill. But I think every big club need to have a plan B, need to have multiple ways of playing. So having said that, I think we need a striker. We need a striker. Like you rightly said, there's not much of them out there in the market right now that are ready to. And if you look at the players that Arsenal are being linked in this window, they are basically players who are already established, who are going to make the impact now. No more players for the future. So I will really scratch my head to say, hey, this is who I want in that position. Then going into the midfield, we know the obvious links that we have, which we're going to talk about furthermore in this episode. Yeah, we need if we get a defensively minded midfielder that is strong and imposing, I wouldn't mind, so that they can relieve players like Odegaard and Vieira when they play little of the defensive duties, so that they can focus on making things happen in the final third. Like we see what Guardiola did this season. He worked in solidifying Man City in the defensive department, so that the front players can focus on finding ways to hurt the opponent, as against always running back to try to help the team to defend. So I'll be glad if Arsenal can add in that department, and if possible too, because if we, like Ugum said, if towards the end of the last season, we lost, I would say, weight or numbers or strength in that department, adding just one person when you now have Champions League, I don't think is enough. So probably I would say we need two defensively minded midfielders. If we get one more attack minded midfielder, that's fine. But we don't forget that we have ESR who barely played last season. So he will be like almost like a new addition to the team for the coming season, because now he's fit and ready to go. And I hear he has no intentions of leaving the club or Arsenal themselves selling him. Then obviously in the defensive department, that one for me is a bit tricky, because if not for the injury that we had with Tomiyasu and Saliba at the same time, we wouldn't be talking about that department now, because we have 4 or 5 center backs. Then why, let's not forget the center back. Tomiyasu can play there. We'll have Gabriel and Saliba. Then you have Rob Holding behind them. Again, we signed Kivio in January. From what I saw of him toward the end of the season, he's not a bad signing at all. I believe he's going to even get better as the season progresses next season. So I don't think we need anybody in that department. Yeah, for right and left back, I would really love Tierney to stay, but if he leaves, then we might have to look for somebody either on the right or the left, because Tomiyasu can play on the left and can also play on the right. So it now depends on where we feel we need somebody to join. So for me, that's it for that.
Can I say something about that? You know, unfortunately or fortunately, City is the specimen that we are all copying and looking at what Guardiola is doing. One of the things he said was that he started using 4 center backs. Of the 4 center backs, 2 of them were highly adaptable: Murphy Akanji and John Stones, right? So Arteta comes from that school of thought. I mean, that's how he converted. Now, I can't even imagine Ben White playing center back anymore. But he's a natural center back. But he can offer something on the right. So I'm seeing football as evolving, soccer as evolving to the point where we no longer have to pigeonhole players. We don't have to look for a specialist right back. We don't longer have to look for a specialist left back. We just look for players that are open-minded and are ready to carry out the coach's instructions, right? So that's what I'm trying to get myself to adjust to in this this summer window, that when I hear certain names being mentioned, that the coach wants those names, you see people rushing up and down, Twitter, a meltdown, YouTube on a meltdown. People are complaining up and down. You don't know what the coach wants to do with this player, right? So we have to open up our minds.
Yeah, I might be one of those persons, actually. I could be one of those persons complaining. If you say a name, Ugum, just give me a name. I was shouting down when I heard a name. I was yelling on Twitter. So just say the name of the guy you heard.
No, we'll get there. I believe
we're about to get there.
Okay. Okay. But, something occurred to me while Ugum was speaking. We give Guardiola credit now for using 4 center backs. But if you really think back this past season, it was Arteta that started it. If you remember, Arteta was playing Ben White on the right and Tomiyasu on the left when Zinchenko was not playing. That was there 4 center backs, and we were wondering why he wasn't playing. Zinchenko.
You were wondering why he wasn't playing Tierney
instead of. Zinchenko was not available at the beginning of the season, and he was playing Tomiyasu there. So it just occurred to me that we give Guardiola credit because he won the treble. Now he takes great. But for me, it was really Arteta that started it, and that's why Arsenal. This is why Arsenal was very solid in the beginning of the season, because we had all-round defenders in our back 4. So that gave us a very, very solid base, and that's what made people like. If you also cast your mind back, Saka didn't do much of defending this season. I can't remember how many times he had to come back to help Arsenal, except in some few games that our backs were really on the wall, that we really need to needed to like do something. I saw him a few times, but for most part of the season, he was just up there doing his business. And you can see that their numbers really show that they had time to do stuff going on the upward. So I also give that a credit. Like, it just occurred to me, and I just remember that, yeah, I remember there was a time we were playing all 4 center backs. I'm going by that. Maybe I'm wrong. We might need to add additional center back because if we have all 4 of them.
Center backs are the new center forwards now,
exactly.
man. Yeah. Look, I watched Choma, I watched Holland, Netherlands playing against Croatia yesterday. For the last 10 minutes of the game, Van Dijk was playing as a center forward. This is where the game is going. You know?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw that. I have a comment though. I have a comment. You know, today I was having some conversation with some guys, yeah. And so he was telling me how when Arteta was with Pep, Arteta used to be the guys to make the calls, you know. When there are some changes, you know, when he was with Pep and all of that, he used to make some game changes and game calls. And so I'm so surprised when Reggie just mentioned that Arteta actually started doing it before Pep. But if you say this to the likes of some people I know, they will burn down this part of the world. Because how dare you?
Yeah, for those that are open-minded, like you said earlier on, who are students of the game, who really understand, you know, sometimes take away the bias and banter. Arteta is a very respected figure when it comes to tinkering football, especially in Man City. The players say it all the time. And Pep was very uncomfortable with Arsenal even when Arteta was doing bad, people said, yeah, because it's his friend, he's patronizing him. He told them about that Arteta knows everything about football, that Arsenal have got themselves a coach that will elevate the club. But, you know, people didn't take it serious because, you know, for like 10, 15 years now, Arsenal has been a ridicule. So anything that is linked to Arsenal doesn't have any value. So nobody was paying attention. I think by next season, there's going to be serious attention paid to Arsenal. So that takes us to our first player of the show, and I'll go with Kai Havertz.
Come on!
Yes, okay, Chapa, let me go with you. So when you heard this for the first time, be honest, what was your feeling?
I went to Twitter and I fought someone on Twitter. I fought a Chelsea fan of mine, my friend. I'm like, okay, fine. See, I need to state this categorically. I love Kai. I feel like Kai has something in the future. I feel like Kai has mobility on the ball in the future. I actually rooted for Kai when Chelsea were on the whole, should we send Lukaku back to Italy and have Kai, you know, take up Lukaku's position. I supported that Kai could do it, even when I knew he wasn't ready. But now, like, how is Kai coming to Arsenal going to help us? Like, who is he coming to help? Because I have Martin and we have Gabriel, that's Jesus, we have this guy. So what is Kyle going to do? The thing with Kyle is a fine player. I watched his game yesterday. I took my time to watch his game yesterday. But the thing is, I think that was a replay. The thing is, he's not mobile on the ball. We don't play that kind of game in Arsenal. We don't have time to wait for you. We can't wait for Kyle to decide what to do with the ball. Arteta teaches the boys to fetch your food and score. Learn how to fetch your ball, walk your game, and score. Kyle will be waiting for somebody to do the work before Kyle realizes it's time for him to tap and score. We don't have that time in Arsenal. I love Kai, believe me. But I think he's not that mobile on the ball.
So for you, he's a no-no.
See, he can come next time. Please, not now. Everything is hot. Please. See, I need to think. I need to no, we don't have time to teach. It's not like we don't have time. If Kai had been in Arsenal like 2 seasons ago, believe me, Kai is going to be a beast as we're speaking. But with what we have on ground now, Kai cannot catch up. Shall we watch Chelsea match? Ugum, you watch Chelsea match, right?
Yeah, of course.
You see Kai, right?
Yes, I do.
Kai, I don't want to say he's slow because people would want to quote me, but he's not while on the ball. I don't know if I'm making sense. He's not. He doesn't think fast.
I understand what you're saying. Ugum, do you want to add to what she's saying?
Yeah, I have the opposite view.
Ugum, come on.
Shoma, I have the opposite view. For mobility, I think he's one of the most mobile members of Chelsea squad. He's very mobile, yes.
Okay,
He's very
okay.
You
For
see,
what they have
it
now on
depends
their
on
squad currently.
no, he's
Don't say
he's a,
Chelsea squad currently.
no, seriously, he's one of the most mobile. We're talking about being able to make runs. Kai Havertz has high IQ to make runs. Finishing is a different matter. I agree. And I think finishing has a lot to do with confidence. There are people that are natural finishers, right? Yes, there are people that are natural finishers, no matter what. Bring them closer to that 18-yard box, they will finish. There are people that finish according to how confident they are, right? And I see Kai Havertz as one of them. Now, he's going to make those runs. I mean, that's what I am excited about, quietly excited about. I'm not saying much until I see him with the shirt. Then I can say what I feel. But this is the guy that I liked when he was at Leverkusen. And I prayed Arsenal would go for this guy.
So what
right?
area do you have in mind is going to help us?
Oh, yeah. So let me tell you where he will help us now. He will help us in so many ways. First of all, he will be a sub for Bukayo Saka on the right wing. Easily. Secondly, he will be a sub for Martinelli on the left wing. Easily again. Third, and most importantly, he can play down the middle. He has the height. He uses his head very well, right? He can play down the middle. And we're going to, our front three are going to be doing this all over the pitch. There won't be anybody you can hold on to with Kai Havertz. I'm telling you.
Did I listen to you compare Kai Havertz to Giroud? That was Giroud's job when he was in Arsenal.
No, but Giroud is not nowhere. Giroud is nowhere near as mobile and as smart as Kai Havertz. But he's the better finisher than Kai Havertz.
Okay, you put Kai in Martinelli, Saka, and middle. That's like wings.
Across. He will play anywhere across that front line.
Kai Havertz. Ugum, I'll hold you to this. If this guy ever wears a red shirt and he's the Emirates.
We have a witness. Reg is a witness.
You know what? Funny enough, I think there is no Arsenal fan that heard this news for the first time that didn't have mixed feelings. Some people outrightly know. A lot of people were, wait a minute. And most of the wait a minute that you get is because in the last 2 years or 3 seasons, Arteta and Edu has shown that when they go for a player, they have planned and they have seen something. If we have signed, let's assume, let me give you numbers. Let's assume we've signed 10 players, at least 7 of them have come to do good in Arsenal. So for me, that's the reason why I didn't shout when I heard it. I was like, wait a minute, let me even think. So I took time to think about Kai Havertz. Like Ugum said, Chelsea has had a very horrendous past season. And even before the last season, the season before that one, I was telling my friends that are Chelsea fans that this team has a problem. It's only going to take a little bit to show. And so when it started happening, I wasn't surprised. So it's possible that he's also, because like Ugum said, if you go back to his days in Leverkusen, people were even talking about him of being potential Ballon d'Or nomination. So if they mention you in that level, that tells the level of talent that you have. And he was scoring goals. I don't think he's a bad finisher. It's just like Ugum said, there was issue in the squad. Chelsea has always had problem of scoring goals for so many seasons now. Even outright strikers that have come to Chelsea have not managed to score goals.
Even Raheem Sterling.
Exactly. So I took my time to think about the guy. For me, it's not that transfer that will wow me, that will say, hey, with him, we're going to win. But when I think deeply into it, I also know that, yes, that there's a player in there that can elevate us. But I'm more confident about the transfer for the fact that I trust Arteta and Edu to know the reason why they're looking for the player. Like Ugum said, I've watched him play live. That guy is not slow. He's not slow at all. That's one. He's not slow in the eye because of his height and maybe his demeanor. You might think he's slow. He's not slow. And there's a very, very, very strong tool that he has, which is picking up dangerous positions on the pitch. One of the reasons why Chelsea didn't score a lot of goals because of his contribution was, I think he was way ahead of other players in terms of intelligence. Most times, he makes the runs too early for the players. Most times, he has the ball where he expects somebody else to follow up with a second run, and he's always isolated. Yeah, he's not an aggressive player that if you play him as a striker, he's going to fight defenders. No, that's not his style. It's more of intelligence. And if you look around, most left-footed players are not always very physical. They always play more with their brains than their body. So for me, I won't dismiss that transfer, to be honest. But it's not going to be the top of my list that, hey, well, you know, I'm all over the place hyping that we're going to sign Kai Havertz. And if we do sign him, there is something for me, 70-30, he will do well in Arsenal. You know, that one of the reasons because of what I know about him, and largely because I believe Arteta and Edu would have done their homework well, and they have a reason why they're going to go for him. So that's what I would say about that. Choma, you have anything to add before we move to the next player?
Yeah, I think, you know, while you were speaking, Reggie, I just started thinking about something. You know, players are really special the way they are. You're trying to make me, you and Ugwom are trying to make me think that Kai's problem is probably the coach. The coaches he met in Chelsea. You know, speaking of Teta's intelligence and, you know, Edu's sharpness and swiftness, you know. So let me just say that I want to think that the reason Kai is the way he is in Chelsea is because he has had like a bunch of, I don't want to call names, on their coaching. Do you understand? Coaches who don't know how to use players, you know. I would have said somebody's name now, but I don't want to fight this night. But, you know, hoping that when he comes to Arsenal and meets, you know, the wonderful Arteta, I just hope they get the best out of him.
Yeah,
seriously.
We'll see how it goes, because right now the news out there is that Arsenal has approached him. He's open to the move. The personal terms are probably 90% agreed. It's not going to be a problem. Chelsea are asking for an arm and leg for him in the tune of 75 million, and Arsenal is not willing to go anywhere close to that. So I think this one is going to take a little bit of time, because Arsenal is not going to be in a hurry. It's not our priority signing, as long as I know. So they're going to wait it out. Chelsea needs to sell players. I don't know if Kai is one of the players they intend to sell. If he's not, probably that's why this one will drag. But if they're open to selling him and they need money to sign other players, then this one will go through. They will come down on the price, and Arsenal will sign him. But there's a saying or a thought, a school of thought that is saying signing Kai is like funding Chelsea to take Caicedo from our Raiders. What's your opinion on that?
I won't even say anything.
You know, that's nonsense. These guys are just, people just want to get people to come and view their channels on YouTube, and they come and they come up with all kinds of stuff. Clubs will buy, clubs will sell. You know, I've decided to just sit back, and when I see a player hold up the shirt, I evaluate and analyze. But with all these speculations and all these things people are saying, people want to say things that will make them feel good, make their club look good, and satisfy whoever is listening to them. All this Chelsea giving them money to buy Caicedo. Have we ever given Chelsea money to buy Modric? They bought for over 100 million. Chelsea have the money, they buy who they want to buy, they sell who they want to sell. It's got absolutely nothing to do with whatever Arsenal is doing or whoever Arsenal is buying. You know, so if you think about it, it doesn't make any sense at all. Just
Yeah, so that
testifies
takes us to
talking rubbish.
Caicedo. And, you know, when you talk about a player in Arsenal, Abba Sambi Lakonga, we tend to say he's still a young player, give him time sometimes. I think he's 23 now. Caicedo is 19 or 20. What's your, Chima, let me go to you again. On Caicedo, what's your impression of him as a player and the link that Arsenal has for, you know, for Caicedo? Well, were you excited to hear that? And what do you think should happen this window?
Yeah, I feel just like we already mentioned. I mean, Arteta knows how to call them. When he calls them, he goes for them. Do you understand? And speaking of Lokonga and Caicedo, I mean, you can be as young as what and not be all of that for somebody to want to bet on you. Looking at Caicedo, he's coming from Brighton, yes? Come on now. I mean, this season should have shown us what Brighton is all about. These guys have a certain level of discipline to them. They have raised sellable, viable, disciplined footballers that any club will want to take, no matter the age. So Caicedo coming to us now is like one of the brightest things that I've heard. I mean, there's a position for him to play. He's an aggressive player on the ball. He makes the runs, completes his, there's this thing I call it splatters. How many steps you make in the midfield, how many steps you make in every wing. I call it splatters. When you check it after every game, he completes it. For me, I don't know for others. So I'm very excited. If he gets to Arsenal, that's a beauty.
Yeah, before I go to Chema, you again, you remember this time last year, the talk was about is Pasuma in Brighton. He was the one that Caicedo replaced. In fact, every Arsenal fan wanted Arsenal to sign Pasuma. 12 months gone. Pasuma is not even, I'm not even sure if Tottenham fans want him in their club. So
those ones don't have a choice. They should take anybody.
Okay, so do you in any way have doubt in your mind? Hey, this is how we are raving for Pasuma last season. Now this is Caicedo just one season. Are you sure that this guy has come to stay in this at this level, or this for now we should watch him carefully?
If there's anything about being an Arsenal fan, there was this joke I made about Rice. Anyway, I know it's too early, but these guys go where they want to go to. In Arsenal, we can rave about anybody, and at the end of the day, we see that the person doesn't come. I remember the whole Basuma time, but you know how players and how football is. If you don't learn, if you don't work enough to fight for your spot, somebody's going to blow like breeze and take it away from you. Okay, yeah, fine. I remember when we were raving about, Haaland is coming to England, Jude came, he showed us what the rave was about. Yeah. And if this season he plays Vincent Kompany and makes a mess, and somebody comes and replaces him, maybe Kane in United or wherever, he didn't stick to his breeze. So Bissouma, Caicedo is the rave now. So I don't know what to say. Just learn how to keep your thoughts.
I like that. Over to you. What was your first impression about being linked to Caicedo? I know we tried to get him in January and it didn't work out. The rumors we have now, it looks like Arsenal is in our radar, but there is no movement in that area. I don't want to believe that Arsenal is not going to go for him this summer. What's your take?
Chelsea are about to sign him. I don't know whether you've seen what's going on. Chelsea are about to sign Caicedo. Actually, from what Fabrizio is saying, they are advanced. Well, let's say advanced. Arsenal have most people are speculating that Arsenal have withdrawn their interest. Chelsea are advanced right now, talking to the player, trying to get an agreement in place and all that. So it's looking like he's going to Chelsea. But he's a player that I was excited to hear that we were being linked to right from January. I hadn't watched him before the January window, but after the January window, I watched him more. And he's a player I'm excited about. He's just like he's like Bissouma, and I would agree. The noise around Bissouma is more like the noise we're hearing also about Caicedo. He's good. He's mobile on the ball. He's adaptable, flexible. Plays different positions. Can shoot from distance. Can pass. Has energy for days. So he's a player that will definitely improve the Arsenal squad. But it looks like Chelsea are going to get him, and it will be their gain. So, like I said, I'm sitting back and watching. This transfer window is going to be up and down. We're going to see many surprises, and at the end of the day, we'll see who signs for who, and then it will be battle royale next year.
Yeah,
season.
for me, I don't think any credible source has said Arsenal. There is a rumor that Arsenal has, withdrawn their interest. But it's easy to say that because there's not really been any serious news about Arsenal making moves for him. I feel that Arsenal is still in for Caicedo. And a few weeks ago, or last week, there was talk that he was inclined to go into Arsenal. And for that to be, I believe there has been some preliminary talks between him and the Arsenal people. So, like you said, let's watch and see how this one goes. But I believe it's not going to be a 2-3 days signing because Chelsea themselves, I don't think they have the financial allowance right now to just go ahead and sign a player. They need to sell first before they can start to buy a player because of FFP. So anybody saying that Caicedo is going to join Chelsea tomorrow, next tomorrow, I don't think it's going to be possible. They might have the talks and keep it in the oven, waiting for movements in the north. Maybe the City signs Kovacic, then probably with those funds, it can give them allowance to go for Caicedo. I believe Arsenal have a budget for it. They have agreement for it. They are working. They're almost done with, probably almost done with whatever is going to cost them to get the guy. So there's no much work to be done. It's just once they're ready, they go for it and probably luckily we can get him. But I believe
Fabrizio Romano has said, Fabrizio Romano is credible.
No, he said Chelsea is going for him. I heard it. But he didn't talk about Arsenal withdrawing. I heard him say Chelsea are working on Caicedo deal. I heard that. But he didn't say Arsenal has withdrawn. But he said there is no movement from Arsenal. That doesn't mean that they have withdrawn. It's unlike what he said about Man United and Kane. That one is official. Man United said then for now they're not pursuing Kane. I think Danny Levy is adamant. We all know how he deals. So there are two different things. I don't believe Arsenal has withdrawn, but there's no serious, message from Arsenal camp that they're going for Caicedo. Which for me, I believe is more like confidence that when we are ready, we'll come for him. Let's work on the Rice deal first. So that takes us to Declan Rice. To many, this is an excitement signing for Arsenal. I don't know, but let me go with you first on this one. What was your impression when this? I think this is about 3 months now that the noise started, and we started seeing him go attend Gabriel Jesus' birthday, national camp assignments. We saw him with Saka, and stuff like that. So all the noise started, and I think there was even one time he was interviewed. He personally said that he loves Arteta and stuff like that. So the noise became louder. So when as all these are going on, what's your thinking, and what do you want Arsenal to do in regards to this? This one.
It will be a statement signing to me personally. Statement being that Arsenal are ready to step it up, right? Declan Rice is an immense player. He's a leader on and off the pitch, brings so much to the game. And I'm looking forward to Arsenal securing this signing. Again, I don't want to talk too much until they actually secure the signing, but he's a player that I really, really like. I think he's a player that will fill so many positions, a player that still has something to improve on. He needs to improve on his goal scoring. He needs to improve on his effectiveness and efficiency in the final third. And this is where Mikel Arteta and his team will improve him to no end. When you have this guy, somebody that can even allow our defenders move up and put enough pressure on the opponents. He has the pace, he has the intelligence to recover and help us, be very stable, be able to suffocate the opponents and really dominate them. So yeah, he's a player that I would love to see We'll have another show once he pulls up the shirt so I can say more about him.
So what in particular, what is his strongest quality, maybe one or two, that makes you feel that Arsenal has to get this guy?
Strongest quality is his tackling is incredible. He's a good tackler. So he's somebody that will help us defensively, very much so. And then he's a good progressor of the ball. He can link up.
Yeah.
He has the energy to go all over the pitch,
Yeah.
progress the ball with passes, both long and short. And with that in our team, losing somebody like Shaka, who I think is an incredible progressor of the ball, we are bringing in somebody that will fill that gap and bring more energy to it as well.
What's your take on Rice, the links, and your confidence about us getting him?
Apart from the fact that he's the most expensive plate of meal at the moment, I don't know why. I mean, he has become too expensive. At least I know Ugum has explained why he's that expensive. So this is what I think about. Ugum already said it. He's progressive on the ball. You know, there's this thing we usually say, somebody that can share the passes. You know, somebody that knows how to pass a ball, and the other person, whether you are the left or the right wing, you can receive it. And, you know, I've looked at him closely. I love the fact that he's a very great leader. He's a very good leader. Imagine when you have the likes of people that can move. His mobility is very fancy. I like to use the word fancy. His mobility is fancy. And for me, because I'm a girl, I like it when a footballer can turn 360 on the ball to collect any ball, you collect any pass. I don't like those footballers that don't know how to turn 360 to receive a pass. And he can do that. So that's where I am, you know, rooting for Arsenal. Just like Ugum said, Omo is dragging. And, you know, my heart is palpitating because I heard one gist about some people trying to pull, you know how those people can be. They've stolen a certain Ukrainian from us. I don't know whether I heard they are going to go and you know, this Rice guy, yeah, he says he likes this person. He's been caught with this person on camera, caught with this person. The same thing Mumu pulled. We all knew Mudrik pulled this thing, said something, got our fans, you know, salivating and awaiting his arrival. And what happened? The money people came, and that was it.
Yeah, you're right. If I ask myself the same question I asked you guys, I think one of the things I've found out over the few months that, you know, all of us started talking about Rice and everybody starts paying attention to him is his professionalism. I know Arteta pays a lot of attention to how people behave both on the pitch and off the pitch. So he strikes to me as a very stable personality, somebody that, you know, that knows the boundaries, somebody that knows how to compose himself. And that has also helped him. Even the national team, you never hear any wrong news and Declan Rice's name is mentioned. You know, so, and these are the kind of people that we need, right? And people who are stable in their mind, people who understand the seriousness of what is going on. We don't want people that think that just because they have the talent, that's all it takes. We want people who understand that even with the talent, you should even work even pretty more, you know, much harder to sustain, you know, the height you have reached. That's one. Secondly, over the years, before Wenger left, though with Arteta now, it's reduced a little bit. As now, because we are an attack-minded team all the time, we always caught on turnovers. The Rice, I've watched him, is a very, very intelligent player when it comes to that as a midfielder. He knows how to take intelligent positions in the midfield that helps his team survive turnovers. And this is one of the things that we need. Now that they say we are the second youngest team in the league. So we need players who understand, who have those kinds of intelligence to understand where to be in case there is any turnover. I'll give you an instance. I remember when Casemiro came to Manchester United, I was telling some of my friends that he was not going to do as well as he did in Real Madrid. They asked me, they were saying, why do you say that? I said, because in Real Madrid, he was playing with Toni Kroos and Modric. These are people who understand position in the midfield. They cover grounds for him because sometimes I see him wander out of position. Modi is intelligent enough to understand that if this guy moves out of position, I can come in and cover him up. And that's why he's been collecting a lot of red cards in Manchester United, because sometimes he's caught out of position. And by the time he looks behind, there is no cover for him. All he needs to do is to do everything possible to stop that person from progressing that play. That's why he's had about 5 or 6 red cards in one season, because there's always like so. The right is that player that, for me, will understand that if our 4 or 5 attacking players are moving, no matter how sweet is looking in the eye, there's always a tendency for turnover. I should be able to stand here or here. So if that happens, I'll help my team to recover the ball. So his recovery of balls and his mental stability, for me, is the catch. Then other things, of course, we know Arteta will work on those. The next player is Ika Gundogan. The only reason why Arsenal is being mentioned in this one is because it's going to be a free transfer. Because if we were to be 2-3 years contract in Manchester United City, I know Arsenal won't even dare trying to, but from the rumors I'm hearing, there is very strong that Arsenal have spoken to him. Arsenal are interested, and as of today, City has spoken to him, but he has asked to be given time to make his decision. So between now and the next few days, he's going to make a decision whether he's going to stay in City or leave. Whatever happens, he said that he has promised to give City, first of all, the first right to hear whatever his decision is going to be before he progress to that. Now, my question to you guys is, do you think there's any possibility of this guy joining Arsenal? And why?
Okay, I'll go first because I have just a few minutes before I have to run. I think there's a strong possibility he will come, but only if he's leaving City. I think City, of course, he's been there. He's the captain of the club. They have the first right of refusal. And so if he's going to decide to stay, then no chance. But if he decides to leave City, then Arsenal have a chance. And the reason Arsenal have a chance is that I think Gundogan is a very intelligent man, and a very, let's say, ambitious. Ambitious is probably not the word. Very, very competitive guy, right? And I think that the Arsenal project will present an opportunity for him to compete again, perhaps compete against City, which I think that kind of man would like, to really help mold a young team, lead a young team, achieve something. He's always been underrated all his career. Gundogan, nobody, even till tomorrow, people still underrate him. Yeah. So I think that Arsenal will present, okay, hey, let me still prove myself even more, show everyone that I am who I am. And I think that if Mikel talks to him properly, which I think they've already done, then Arsenal have a chance.
Yeah, Chuma, what's your take on Gundogan?
Well, it's actually a very exciting it's very exciting news. Actually, I hadn't even come across Captain Gunn coming to Arsenal, but I mean, if he gets there, he's going to be a breath of fresh air. We don't even need to talk too much on what he has brought to the City team. We saw how he was. In fact, he was fantastic this season. Exactly. I am going to say it. I don't care what anybody thinks, but I think he is one of the reasons City has the treble. It's not just about being a captain of a team. It's about coming through and knowing when to come through. He backed the goals that mattered. He made the calls that mattered. At a point in some games, this guy was doing defense. He was not complaining. He was up and about. He turned himself into a defender. He wasn't complaining. He played it flawlessly. Imagine that kind of man with his experience in Arsenal. That's all I have to say. I think he's a very well.
For me, I believe we have a chance, really, because if he's going to leave City, like we said, and I think he will leave, because in the beginning of the season, Pep wasn't really giving him a chance. So I believe Pep is trying to move on from Gundogan being integral to what he's doing. But for the fact that he didn't have a choice, he had to use him. So I believe based on that, he might want to move on. And it looks like he has a very good relationship with Arteta as well. And Arteta will probably offer him a chance to, after playing, probably join the coaching team. Minus Barcelona, and I know they have financial issues. So if they don't have the allowance to sign him right away, he has to wait for them to resolve stuff to get him in. He probably will take Arsenal, will come to Arsenal. And I believe he's going to be very, very instrumental to Arsenal. I know we have a few minutes to go. But before you go,
I have to go.
Okay. Choma, I want to ask a question. If we are to get these players, what's going to be the implication of with the players that we already have in our midfield? Who do you think should stay and who's going to go? Bearing in mind that even the coming season, we're going to suppose to even raise our bar, both in numbers and in quality, with regards to the Champions League and also trying to win the league. We have Xhaka, we have Partey, we have ESR in the midfield. If you add Declan Rice, add Caicedo, and probably Gundogan, and then Odegaard. These are 7 midfielders. And for the most part, you're going to start with 3 out of these 7. And I know most of the time, players, before they sign for a club, they always ask if they're going to get playing time, what do you need them for, what role are they going to play? So who do you think? Do you think we should let anybody go? I had this conversation with Ugum, and when you finish talking, I will tell you what we are arguing about. So what do you think we should do? Should we keep all these players and use them, or who do you think we should let go and who should come in?
At the moment, I don't think we need to be fast on who to let go. You know, we're actually playing Champions League after how many years? And at least we've seen what Pep has pulled off. And he hasn't pulled it off using the same players he used for every game. So I think we need to sit back and enjoy having, should I use the word excess options of guys in one position? Options, actually. Enjoying having options, because we're going to play a lot of games. We have the Community Shield coming up, okay? Yeah, with City. You know, we have the Champions League. We have many leagues to play. So, and you know, personally, I'm a midfield kind of person, because that's the engine room. Anything can go wrong if you start losing men in your midfield. So I feel Arsenal needs to enjoy the options we have now. Maybe as we go on the season, we can start thinking who we can loan or who we can sell or who we can do anything with. That's what I think.
Yeah, I completely. I just wish Ugum was here now to hear you speak, because I had this argument with him sometime this week, and he was saying Xhaka should go. Xhaka is gone already. Xhaka should not go. You have a nanny. I told him, if there is anybody that has to leave, Nene can go. I don't really believe that he's still an Arsenal player. The reason why he's still there is because he was injured, and the club didn't want to just let him go with injury. They said, okay, we'll give you 1 more year, recover and get back to the team. So for me, he's not even there. I don't think, even with Caicedo and Rice, I don't think Arsenal should allow Xhaka go. I don't think so. They should do everything possible. They should do everything possible to keep him. The reason is just what you said. We're going to play Champions League. Now, he lets Xhaka go. He had 2 midfielders. Now, what we had last season was not enough to help us win the league. We had to even tactically get out of the Europa League to focus on the league. Then add 2 midfielders and let 1 go. So what you just did is to add just 1. So that 1 is not enough for me for you to now fight the EPL with full throttle and still do something meaningful in the Champions League. So like you said, I think we need all these players. It's not too much to have as a team that's playing Champions League and also playing the league. So I really agree with you on this one. Then there is one that we have to talk about. I know people are going to raise eyebrows. In the last 3 years, every transfer window, Real Madrid, MBAPPE, PSG. MBAPPE, Real Madrid, PSG. It's always been there. All of a sudden, from nowhere this week, the news broke that MBAPPE has told PSG that he is not renewing his
He
contract.
hasn't renewed. Yeah, he hasn't renewed.
Then Real Madrid says they're not looking for Mbappe this season. They don't have the money to sign him this season, which means he wants to stay in PSG and live on the free next summer. Then PSG says, no, sign the contract extension now, or you have to leave this summer. So what the only where Arsenal comes into play in this one is there is never been the cheaper time to sign Mbappe than now, because that the figure that is being thrown around is about 120 million. Can you imagine 120 million for Mbappe? So
He did it himself.
the reason why the name is mentioned on this show is, as an Arsenal fan, I look at it, I said, I know other people will say, what are you talking about? I don't think Arsenal is too far away from being able to attract Mbappe. In terms of money for sign-on fee, I don't think it's out of reach of Arsenal. The brand of football that we play, I don't think is something Mbappe will see and say, I don't like. If you ask me, the kind of football that we played last season and the job that we did last season, for me, is better than what PSG did. And if he could play in that PSG team, then why can't he play in Arsenal team? That's one. French players have had history with Arsenal. And so looking at all this, the only thing I know is that the wages might be too high. But if you also cast your mind back on the allowance Arsenal has created from in our wage bill in the last 2 seasons, removing players like Ozil, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Mustafi, Arsenal cleared a lot of space in the wage bill. I think we should also be able to, accommodate Mbappe, considering the fact as well that he will also help us get the revenue to pay those bills, because we're going to have shared sales. There's going to be increased viewership on our games and stuff like that. So, do you think can we dream that dream?
Mbappe dream. Well, Mbappe dream is most appropriate for Real Madrid and the likes of all those clubs, down Spain for now. Nah, I don't know what he got himself into, but no. Mbappe, yeah, he might want to play Champions League, seeing that he hasn't played, Champions League for a while, being in PSG and all of that for a period of time. But him coming towards England and, we wanting to dream Mbappe dream, no, it's not. It's a very expensive dream. And, in order not to face disappointment, I don't think we should dwell on Mbappe coming to. I mean, if he wants to come to England, I mean, he should go to City. He probably would want to go to City, because if Real Madrid are saying, okay, see, we're not doing this time, I think the most likely club he would want to find himself in should be, I think he likes playing, he likes going head to head with the big guns. So he might want to go and, move around this guy, Haaland, and all of that.
The problem is, Mbappe, like you rightly said, he likes to be the center of attraction. Now, Haaland has gone ahead of him, is in City, he has shattered all records, established himself in the team. So he's the center of conversation. So Mbappe coming to City is not going to, it's going to be just like when Neymar went to Barcelona to go meet Messi. He could never, become the center of it. That's why he left to PSG. So if Mbappe comes to Man City, it's going to be a lot of struggle to get that domineering effect. So that's the only reason why some Arsenal fans are dreaming, because if he wants to come to England, I'm not sure he wants to go to United. They might have the fun. United is not even set to themselves right now, because they are still going through this ownership tussle that they're still working on. So nobody's sure what's going to happen. Are they going to have the funds or not? So I just wanted to chip that in there. We lost watch that one unfold, because PSG are adamant that they're not going to let him move on free by next season. So, and if they're adamant and he refuses to renew his contract, Real Madrid don't have the funds right now to sign Mbappe. So it opens up opportunity for other clubs to try their bid. He could probably go to another club for 2 seasons and have an agreement in principle with Real Madrid that, okay, after 1 year, 2 years, you guys can come for me and stuff like that. So that's why it's good to leave the doors open. You never know. So before we go, one thing I want to ask you is, if you were to wake up 1 month from now in preseason, you have Caicedo, you have Declan Rice, you have Gundogan, you have Kai Havertz. What impact do you think the assemblage of these players will have in the dressing room? People have said that Arteta doesn't have what it takes to work with big players. Do you think that in any way off the pitch that these players could obstruct the harmony we have in the dressing room?
You see the way I'm laughing? I'm laughing because I'm laughing in the faces of people that actually think Arteta doesn't have what it takes to. If you take a closer look at the likes of Ozil, their mannerisms, you see Pierre Aubameyang, you see Shaka, those guys, and their temperaments. We don't even want to start going down to what it took Arteta to put those guys together and ship them off. He literally had to put okay, let's not even go far. Personally, I don't know for other people. Shaka was his best under Arteta. His best. I didn't see him pulling at anybody's jerseys. I didn't see him doing all those stubborn gesticulations he used to do. That guy used to be very temperamental. But I saw matches where Arteta would look at him or just touch him and Shaka calms down. Now, that's how you can tell a coach who is in charge. For the rest of them who didn't watch the All or Nothing Arsenal docu-series, I took time to watch it. And it was not just for the camera. This guy has the grace. He has what it takes to bring these guys together. I don't care if some Chelsea people who are very, very conversant with dressing room problem think that Arteta cannot handle his dressing room. Arteta has the keys. He has what it takes to keep everybody down. He will cut you. If you think you have too much wings, he's going to cut you. And believe me, in Arsenal's dressing room, if there's anything I know about it, there's discipline. He talks about it all the time. Discipline, there's stability. So you can't even try to tell me that these guys, if there's anything that bring into the dressing room, is magic. It's magic. It's consistency. It's beauty. And I don't even want to begin to tell other clubs what to expect if we have this 4-man riotous army in Arsenal this season. Yeah, we're going to ship everybody.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. And if you also look at the profile of these players, minus Caicedo, that one can say we don't really know him for that long. We don't know what he represents in terms of.
He's coming from Brighton.
Yeah, Declan Rice, of course, we already know his profile. Gundogan is a man that has, had a very stable career. Kai Havertz, there's no story of him being a problem in the dressing room in Chelsea. So I don't think, I agree with you. I believe Arteta, and of course, before he goes for these players, would have spoken to them, that let them know what is expected of players and how Arsenal players are expected to behave and stuff like that. So I feel that if in any way Arsenal manages to get these 4 players on board, I think we'll be in for a very good dinner, so to say, coming next season. So viewers, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. Like and share this video if you're enjoying our chat. Before we go, Choma, I didn't give you much time to talk about yourself when we started. Can you tell our viewers a little bit of yourself and what you're doing? You're based in Nigeria and you're involved in the game. And, so can our viewers know you a little bit more?
Okay, my name is Choma. I love football a lot. It started from when I was 6 years old. My mom would always make my house a viewing center for all the World Cups that, I saw growing up. And recently, I'm actually involved in grassroots football. So I actually stay in Abuja, Nigeria. So down here, we have many grassroots football clubs. So I work with 5 Stars Football Consultancy at the moment. We are hosting a Premier League. We call it the 5 Star Premier League. We have about 12 teams, they play against each other, and at the end of the season, they get to win a trophy. So I also volunteer to other grassroots football consultancies that hold, other football tournaments. So basically, all I do is just promote the culture through football. So I've also worked with football academies. I work with 5-Star Football Academy, actually, as a carer for the children. So wherever football goes, you see me caring, promoting the culture, because there's one thing I want to say, down here, especially here in Nigeria, how economically the country hasn't been that favorable. So you have a lot of young men, great young men, everywhere on the street. So we actually thought to ourselves, how do we bring these guys together to not put them in a bad place, committing crime and all of that? So we thought football, and it has worked. I mean, you have communities putting together football clubs just to be a part of the tournament, and it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful. I mean, for like 2 seasons now, we actually do have Mary Beth on one of the 5-Star projects, and it's ongoing. So that's
yeah, it's
a
great
bit
to
of
hear that. Keep it up. That's so nice to hear. I and Boom are also involved in grassroots football over here. I coach a team that plays what we call a Nigerian tournament. We just concluded the All Texas tournament, which our team won in Houston. The national one will be held in Chicago this year in September. We'll be going as well with the boys. Yeah, good to hear that you're involved in the game at that capacity. And it's a pleasure to have you on the show today. And I know that this is just the beginning. We're going to be back for so many more episodes. So our viewers, before we go, we'll remind you one more time to don't forget to subscribe if you have not, because we're going to be serving you a lot more entertaining and insightful episodes on this channel. Like and share the video to your contacts, because they also deserve to enjoy what you're enjoying from this channel. So that's what we have for today. Our next video will be looking at other clubs, probably Chelsea or Man United, depending on what rumors out there that will be strong in the next couple of days. Look out for those when they drop. And bye for now.